Here goes nothing. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm live on Facebook. Ooh, this has been an interesting day today, hasn't it? Let's see. Oh, I am live. Yay! All right. I know some of you probably won't be able to make it to the live session today because things have been glitchy here in Facebook land. La la la. But I still wanted to go ahead and get this workshop series started just so that we can have a little bit to work with since you guys have the templates and the pattern already, right? So I wanted to cover just the paper pieces and how we go about making sure that we have the right size printed when we want to work with PDF templates like these for the Hexagon Mug Rug. Oh, and if you're new here to me, my name is Elise Beck, and we're doing the Hexagon Mug Rug Workshop this whole week, Monday through Friday, and I'll be tuning in at 5 o'clock, hopefully, for the rest of the week. But if worst comes to worst, I'll try to hop in whenever things work out with Facebook. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the PDF templates that you guys were able to purchase and download and print from home. And as you can see here, the PDF, all the templates have been marked, so they're easy for reference. And on the inside the PDF template also, you had this little reference chart so you know where the pieces go and you don't have to, guess where they should be going and whatnot. So the PDF template, that's good. Oh, if you happen to have just ordered the paper templates themselves that were pre-cut, what you want to go ahead and do is take a screenshot of this. Let me remove the PDF templates so they don't show up. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this so you have the reference sheet here for where the pieces should be going. And what we're going to do next is actually go ahead and mark your pieces if you purchase the paper templates, the pre-cuts. So I'm going to put this to the side. Let me make sure they both show. And if you're here live, go ahead and say hi to me in the chat so I know you're here. So what you want to go ahead and do so that we don't confuse these, because as you can see here also in the notes, the half of the pieces are actually mirror images. So you want to make sure that you mark them so you don't end up cutting, let's say, all of your pieces, piece C. You don't want to cut them all like this, right? Because two of them are going to be mirror images of each other. So that's why we want to go ahead and put. See, now I'm getting myself confused too. Oh, where do you go? See, this is why we mark them. Ah, there we go. It's always good. Oh, there we go. See, that's why this reference chart comes in handy. And this one goes here, and that one goes there. Okay. Oops. There we go. Whew, confused myself there for a second. This whole outage has got me all flustered. All right, can you guys hear me okay? Hi, Cindy! Long time no see. Hi, Kate. Oh, you're in Florida right now? Oh, hey there, Keith. I'm glad you were able to jump in. I know things have been crazy today. I couldn't log into Instagram or Facebook all day. I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? But like I was saying, what you want to go ahead and do, since if you only got the paper templates, is follow along with this little reference sheet here and mark your pieces. That way we'll make sure that we don't base them wrong and then we don't cut them from the wrong pieces of fabric, right? Because we don't want to waste fabric. So the hexagons, they're all facing the same way, so you don't really have to mark those. I'm just going to put the hexagons away. Let's see. Okay. And then we want to go ahead and mark the A, B, C, and D pieces. So I'm just going to go ahead with the pencil. Just going to put A1. So I'm just following this little chart here. A2, B1. And if you have the PDF, you don't need to do any of this. Everything's marked for you already. So quite convenient. So then I'm going to do C1, D1, C4, B4. The only reason I'm marking these is because half the pieces are mirror images, as I was mentioning earlier. So we want to make sure we have them marked so we don't confuse them like I was doing when I was trying to put them back already, right? Oh my gosh. So we got the hexagons and we got all our pieces marked. So if you're following along with me, you can go ahead and mark your pieces too. And once you have that done, then you're guaranteed that you won't mess these up, because all these letters are facing up, and you know that's what you should be looking at when you're pasting them to the fabric too, right? And also, if you happen to get the PDF templates, I also included these fussy cutting templates, and you can actually go ahead and mark these too. See how I marked them? So B2, I know it's for that piece. Let me move this down so you can see. Move this over. So that's for fussy cutting the B2 piece. But see how the B4, it's upside down? That's because B4, I want to flip it when I trace it on fabric. So I see B4 is right side up. And that way I know I'm cutting fabric the right ways. And same if I flip it over, I have B1. So that I have this piece correct when I want to trace it on fabric. And I tend to trace on the right side of fabric in case I want a fussy cut like this, so I know exactly where I'm placing in case you want to fussy cut. If you're not really concerned about fussy cutting, you don't have to be too worried about placing on the exact same spot. So you could technically trace on the wrong side of fabric, but I suggest trying to stick with one way or the other so that you kind of have a consistency going. Otherwise, you might mess up when you trace your pieces. And then we have B3 is upside down. See, B3 is upside down on my template, but B3 is here. So I'm going to need to flip my template over when I want to trace it on fabric. So I have it right side up, and I can go ahead and trace the B3 piece. So these are some extra little goodies that you have in your PDF template, but you know, they're not 100% necessary. So don't worry about it if you just got the paper templates. You're A-okay. So we marked these, and we can put these away for now. So I'm purposely going step by step so we have all our beginners. They're able to follow along too, because I'm assuming that I'm just going to, for the sake of this workshop, I'm just going to assume that everyone's a beginner and you don't know anything about EPP. Okay? And if you do know, you can go ahead and help out in the comments too if you have questions, and I'll be very grateful. So then we have the PDF template printout. Let me move this out of the way. So when you print this out, you want to print it out at 100%. Don't adjust the sizing on your PDF printouts. And also you see the little 1-inch mark here. That way is for you to put a little ruler up against the 1-inch mark. See the little arrows? And make sure that's 1 inch. That way you know that you printed it out at the correct size. If this is for some reason the wrong size, you need to go back to your printer settings and reprint it. At 100%, you're safe. If you just say print it at 100%. Don't fit to page. Then that's when things start to get messed up and wonky. And people are like, this is not fitting. What's going on? Usually it's the printer settings that's the issue. And let me make sure if there's any questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. What's a good cardstock? Let's see. Oops, can't see. Keith asked, what's a good cardstock brand weight to use for the template printouts? I like 65-pound weight cardstock. You can get it at Target has it. If you go to the stationery section, they carry 65-pound. I think it's Cindy, are you still here? You know it's Astro Bright. That's what it's called. It's Astro Bright cardstock. They carry it at Target, and they also have it at Walmart, and they also have it at Amazon if you're not close to any of those shops. But I'm sure Staples and like Office Depot have 65-pound cardstock as well. So if you can see, it's similar to what's that? Index card weight. If you cannot hear it, right? It's a little stiff, but not too stiff. I really like 65-pound cardstock. So then we've made sure that the printout is 1 inch. You follow along with the little 1-inch mark there. And then we can go ahead and take this And I like to just go roughly in between the shapes first. Let me do this one. Like that. Make sure I'm on the camera here. Cindy got yours from Office Depot. Nice. Marco Russell. You can get the templates from my Etsy shop. Cindy, do you by any chance have well, actually, let me see if I can tape it in. Oh, I can. Hold on. I wasn't sure. First time I'm using this system to do this live here. So the Etsy shop is, I'll put that in for you so it's easy to find. Oops. Shop. There you go. So you can get the PDF download or you can get the paper templates. So I'll go back to cutting. So you kind of have a rough outline of the cuts, right? So make sure that when you decide on cutting, either go outside the right outside the printed line or right inside. Either way, you're good, but stick to one or the other. Don't switch them up. That's when your shapes are not gonna start fitting together. So I prefer to go right outside the black line instead of inside. That way I can kind of tell. And I know this might seem basic, but when you cut, start from the back of your scissors and don't do this. Don't do the jagged movements like that. That's when you don't get a smooth line and your pieces won't fit. So that's a remnant from design school. We got yelled by our instructors to cut smooth lines on our garment templates. So we want to go straight down. Try to do it with one movement or least amount of movements as possible when you cut. So that way you get really nice smooth lines to work with. There we go. We have one A piece. And if you don't enjoy cutting your templates out, you can also get the pre-cut templates. And make sure I don't miss anything. The system's kind of fun. I like it. So was anyone else stressing out about being locked out of Facebook and Instagram all day today? That was kind of an adventure, right? Because you're used to popping in and seeing your friends, what they posted and what they're up to all day, and then all of a sudden you can't. It's like, what's going on? So I got these two. So I do prefer working with just one at a time. So I'll just do a rough cut. And then I'll go ahead and do the detailed precision cuts here. And try to do one movement. And make sure to use your paper scissors. Don't use your fabric scissors when you cut your templates because that's going to dull your scissors. And when you try to cut fabric, you're going to cry because it's not going to cut smooth. Plus these paper scissors, they're pretty cheap. And they sell them 3 for a pack of 3 at Costco too. Really good deal. These are the Scotch titanium. How to cut out the fussy template. Oh yes, I can definitely. Hold on. Actually, I don't have anything printed yet, so I'll do this. I won't need this. Hold on. Give me 1 second and I can print one set out for me so I can show you guys. I didn't even think about that part. Thanks, Keith. Let me go ahead and print a fussy cutting template. So while you guys are cutting your templates out, I'll print one for me here. Let's see, where are my fussy cutting? Here we go. So these ones that I used here, they're the 3/8" seam allowance. If you prefer the 1/4", you can also print those and use those from the PDF version. Let me see here. Current page. Okay, so I'll print that. So when you're a beginner, a 3/8" seam allowance might be easier, just to have a little more wiggle room, and it's more forgiving if you cut the fabric a little bit off. But personally, I prefer the 1/4". Cuts are still crooked, Kane. Did you try to do it with one smooth move as you're cutting? Why is it not printing? Let's see. Ah, there we go. It's a little slow. So hold your scissors. Try to start furthest back as possible. Not too far back where your paper will get stuck here. Let me do a rough cut. So there. And then we line it up. See? And then do it with one cut. Don't lift your scissor blades. Just cut it straight across. And like this too. Just cut it straight across. That way you get really nice smooth edges. Perfect for getting paper cuts on too. There you go. Okay. That I got my fussy cutting template for now. And in case if you just got the paper templates also, just so you don't feel like you don't have access to fussy cutting templates, it's super easy. Let me show you first on the back of this. I'll show you with this piece. So just go ahead and trace it. Trace the shape. Like that. So I traced this way. And then go ahead and add your seam allowance with the ruler. So I'll go ahead and add a 3/8". And 3/8. And 3/8. And one more 3/8" side here. There you go. And then you would just cut this out on the outside line first, and then we'll go ahead and cut the inside. So I'm going to show you on this side how to cut the fussy cutting templates. Cutting curves must be fun. Oh yeah, you cutting curves, that's a whole different beast to tackle. But just as when you cut straight lines, curves as well, when you cut them, try to do it with one movement instead of going, multiple cuts. Okay, if you have a slight tremor, yeah, then that makes it a little bit harder, definitely. But just give yourself a little grace and cut slower, okay? And that way you'll have nice pieces. So I'm gonna show you with this one. I'll just go ahead and do a rough cut. So we have kind of smaller piece to work with, and you guys can see better. So I could start with trimming the outside lines, which probably better. Yes, like that. Let's see, make sure I check out the comments here. Oh, Jennifer, you were more productive. You know what, you guys? Me too. I actually got the web maker pattern done while Facebook was down because I couldn't do anything else. So I'll have that listed tomorrow if anyone's interested in making a spider web for Halloween. Okay, so you got this all done. So now we have the center. We need to get rid of it, right? Because it's a fussy cutting template. So what I do, I'll just fold it over like this a little bit, fold it in the center there, and then cut with my scissors to get into the center. And then you can just kind of roughly cut it. It's okay if you bend your paper a little bit, so don't worry about that at all. I know a lot of people are concerned about bending their papers, but you know, if you even iron this, it turns out nice and flat again too. So I've got the center cut out roughly, right? And that's when I start going in closer and removing more. And if you're someone that prefers like an X-Acto knife, that's fine too. But this is okay too. But what you want to do is make sure you make a little overcut into the side actually as you're fussy cutting the inside center part out. So see the black line there? My scissors are going to cut a little bit inside. That's so that I can make sure I get a clean cut corner here. So I'm going to go in a little bit in the corner. See there, right there. I'm going to end up going over the line a little bit. And here I'll show you, see how I went over the line a little bit. Oop, where's the camera? You can see that there, right? But that's okay. And that way we get these nice sharp corners as we're trimming. Oops, good if I remove this so you can see. So you get this nice sharp corner here. And then we keep on repeating on each of the corners. And if you have an X-Acto knife, if you prefer that, that's okay too. Go. See, I've overcut a little bit over the line. That way I can get right into the corner there. And cut this out. Okay. And one more corner. Who here finds that their tongue does all their cutting? I don't know what it is. Okay, there we go. So now we have a fuzzy cutting template like that. So after you cut all your templates out, you're gonna separate them by their letter. So I got my B pieces. Where the rest go? I have 2 more B pieces to cut. All my C's, D's, and the hexagon E's, and you'll end up with this, right? And if you just jumped on here, it helps you balance your tongue, right? I think it's a scientific thing. So we have, so make sure if you didn't get the PDF template, I would suggest take a screenshot right now of this so you have it for your reference for where the pieces are supposed to go if you just jumped on. Let's see, make sure. If I forget to check the comments, remind me. I wish there was some type of sound notifications I could tell. Nope. Okay. So I hope you got a screenshot of this and have all your paper templates marked so that we can start cutting our fabric. Tomorrow I'll be showing you how to start laying the fussy cutting templates onto fabric so you can trace them and cut them out. So I wanted to start just with this segment for today so you can get all your pieces prepared and all your templates marked. And if you don't have the PDF, make sure, like I showed you on this, trace your pieces and make yourself some fussy cutting templates. And you can add either a 3/8 inch seam allowance or a 1/4 inch seam allowance, your choice. And cut these out so that tomorrow we all have our shapes, fussy cutting templates like this, and all our pieces marked like that. And you could even go ahead and contemplate on what type of fabrics you want to use. You know, it's really good for using up all your scraps that you have at home. It's good for experimenting. I say anytime you're learning something new and you don't want to experiment on your favorite, most expensive quilting fabrics, then start with the scraps. And it's going to be a nice mug rug for you to have around the house and just to put your mug on. I mean, you can never have too many mug rugs, right? So, any questions? You could use a rotary cutter for the paper on the straight edge, definitely. Just make sure, don't use a plastic ruler like this one. Make sure you use an acrylic ruler or a ruler with the metal edge when you're cutting paper with the rotary cutter. Because this, I tried cutting with the rotary cutter and see how I cut into my ruler. Can you guys see this cut there? No good, no good, no good. So make sure you use an acrylic ruler or a metal ruler when you use a rotary cutter to cut along the straight edges. But yeah, you could definitely use your rotary cutter. Oh, and separate your rotary cutter, the one that you cut fabric, and one for paper again. I like to use my dull blades, the ones that are not so sharp for fabric anymore. Those are really great to use on paper because even if I mess it up, it's okay, right? Let's see. Let me check the comments, see if I don't miss anything. And if you guys have picked your fabrics, then you guys are ahead of the game too. Ta-da! I think I got all the questions. Let's see, scrolling through. Okay, I think I got it all. But if you guys have more questions popping up after the live is over, just put it in the comments because I'll come back in here and check too when folks that are not up at this time of the day, when they'll come and check. Yeah, Kane, try the rotary cutter, but be careful. If you have a tremor, I don't want you to hurt yourself, okay? Just be careful. And go slow because the way a paper cuts is a little different, especially cardstock. It's a little stiffer than fabric. So as long as you're careful and take it easy, definitely, yeah, check out the rotary cutter for cutting the straight edges. And let's see. And if you happen to watching the replay, just put hashtag replay too. That way I'll know if you're coming on here later and I can make sure to answer your questions later as well. And I'll see you guys 5 o'clock tomorrow. Crossing my fingers that Facebook is gonna work. Shh. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.